wicket keeping very, very poor, and you have to rely on the memories of some people to tell you who the youngest player in the history of top flight football in Jamaica is. It is around the 15-year-old mark, and so Dunstan Cohen keeping very elite company with his selection here by coach Donovan Ducky. Anyway, we're on the way, and Wright slips it to the other Marlon in the Arnett Gardens team, Allen, wearing number 30. Kevin Graham in the back, over to Alton Lewis. And Lewis, bad touch early. Lack of concentration, early throw conceded to Arnett Gardens. So I know, and the world knows, that the youngest player in the English Premier League is Harvey Elliott from Fulham, who debuted at 16 years and 30 days. But in Jamaica, there's no database for you to rely on, as we see Paul Teagat-Davis, ex-Seba United striker, ex-outstanding national striker, coached Mount Pleasant. He's been at Arnett Gardens before, calling the shots on the sidelines. And anytime now, Master Director will punch up Donovan Ducky, the ex-JDF private, who's made a big career in coaching. Half of the teams in this Premier League this season have been coached at one time by Donovan Ducky. Here's Cephas on the goal early. Cephas still running, but just lost the dribble at a crucial point. Overstrode maybe with the ball, and Anjay Gale happy to knock it away from him. Kevin Graham meanwhile to Javier Brown, skipper on the day with Ricardo Campbell not available. Midfield to Plummer, who's been asked to play defensive midfield today based on the formation and the positions sent to us by the Vere United coaching staff. Graham's pass only finds Steve Clark on the right. On it, despite Arboin being on the bench, they have a lot of speed in the wide areas because Cephas is fast as a bullet. Make no mistake, Steve Clark is also rapid, so they don't lose anything in terms of pace in those wide area, in that wide area on the right. As we see Donovan Ducky there, you lose nothing when you, in terms of pace, when you have Clark replacing Arboin.
The only difference is I don't think Steve Clark is as quick with the ball, and I think that is where Cephas is excellent. With the ball, he is fast as well. Steve Clark, when the ball is pushed ahead, very quick, but with the ball, just not the same pace, even as an Arboin.
Point. Kevin Graham slipped as he made connection, and a bit nervy from Vere, even after less than 3 minutes. A couple. Alton Lewis miscontrolled a ball that ran into touch, and then Graham kicked a free kick into touch. You would expect this team cobbled together.
Just the thought of Francois Swebe having to play in the midfield is bizarre, especially with his movement. Has the experience, but doesn't really have those kind of legs. And already you've seen that there's been a switch. Francois Swebe has actually reverted to that sole position up front, which I think is a better move.
Or maybe it is that the formations written on paper by Ducky was intended to fool the opposition. I wouldn't put that past him at all. Here's Steve Clark in possession. The cross comes in, and easy for goalkeeper Michael Panton, as we told you. Only 19 years old, fresh out of schoolboy football. And Ducky has had to rely on the youth. So the contrast, one end of the continuum, a Cohen who's in possession now, 15 years old, and Swebe, who is more than twice his age. Clark gets back to help slowly, and it's back to Gerald Neal, Simpson in central defense, and Ronaldo Wright. A few substitute appearances for him so far this season. He gets the start today because Ajuma Johnson not fit enough to contribute from the start.
And that's another thing that might hurt Arnett Gardens going forward, because that is where Juma Johnson is really good with that talented left foot. Very offensive player. They're probably stronger defensively though, Arnett, today.
But to be fair to Johnson, he's defended well. But the point you're making is valid. But because I've been watching him, how he has defended, knowing that his inclination is to attack.
He has improved.
Yeah. And remember, this is his first season playing in this position in the league. So
still don't like him there. When I think of overlapping wing backs, they're natural runners down the wings, looking to get the balls into the box. He's not really wired that way, but anyhow.
Early cross.
It's part of being a professional sportsman as well, is the ability to adapt to
Yeah,
situations.
yeah.
So as you are saying, he is improved and adapted somewhat.
And Ajuma would say, well, why is Mr. Taylor giving me a hard time after just 4 games in my new position? It's just 4 games. I've been a winger and an attacker all my Premier League career and for all of my time as a schoolboy player. So just give me some time to grow into the role. Fact is, he will tell you, and he'll be right, that his contribution has not cost Arnett Gardens any goals this season. So that's a good place to start with trying to be solid as a left back.
I like to see him high up the pitch.
Yeah.
I think that left foot is way too talented to be there, and does better when he cuts into central roles, which is not asked of him as a wing back. But anyhow,
Brown forward to Swaby. Swaby has Harrison for support. Swaby trying to work the angle for a shot. He does, but it's blocked by Simpson, and Harrison leapt forward, got there ahead of right, but in the end it's an easy take for William Price.
a bit surprising that Tyreek here gets the start instead of Tyrese, who we would have seen in the last couple of games with number 17. Got a start and came off the bench in another game, but this is his brother. And very pacey as well, agile.
Seems to have been a bad landing. Just maybe twisting the ankle a little bit. Still hobbling is Tyreek Harrison. But he's young and the day is warm, so he'll be fine in short order.
And if it's anywhere that we've seen Arnett Gardens look susceptible, it's been through the middle, that central defensive region, which is actually where you would expect Vera United to look to attack because of Francois Swaby. So maybe that might just be an avenue to hurt them through that central zone. And going right through their spine, you think of Arnett Gardens, we've discussed this before, that the need for a creative player, they're really lacking that kind of player. Maybe a McCarthy or a Rose would have been really good for them. And
Martin gets Clark going. Clark forward, trying to find Allen. Good win by Slowly, back with Clark. Now Cunningham, all the way, Neal, all the way back to Simpson, across the right. Allen, heavy touch by him, was trying to take it one touch turn. Maybe saying that it bounced too high, caught the ankle and went out for the throw.
There's Francois Swaby, 92 goals in almost 250 appearances at the Premier League level, and as I said before, George, a 15-year-old to partner with, less than half his age.
Neal goes long, trying to pick out Cephas, and he does so. Can he gather? What can he do from here, Cephas? Bursts inside Cephas. Still Cephas going, and he goes down in the box. Referee says corner.
He was looking for that Cephas, and rightfully no penalty. But again, you see there, Judge, just what he can do with the ball as well. Very quick, good footwork. A little nibble by Gale, who playing in a centre-back role, a little bit unusual for him this season. Did it as a schoolboy.
Here's Guthrie. Look to fire this one to the back post. He does. The header goes up from Gerald Neal. The header again from Simpson this time. And he puts it over from a promising position, the centre half. Staying up front for the corner kick. And the second header was won by him. And he couldn't direct it goalwards.
Really good creation by Romeo Guthrie. And that's what you look to see. Lovely ball into the box. He's got to score from there, Simpson. On mark, great ball by Guthrie, using the breezy conditions to his advantage, and Simpson has got to score. He's just got to score from there. Unmarked, lots of time, point blank. Got to hit the target.
So the first miss of the afternoon. Chalked up to Arnett Gardens, their centre half. Not finishing when he ought to. Alton Lewis screaming in pain. It looks to be Ramon Plummer who got nailed. Well, Lewis it was who got nailed in that clearance. And the referee says free kick.
What a miss that is for Arnett Gardens. From a corner, you've got to be looking to score from there. There's Simpson again. Just saying, whether you're a centre back or a centre forward, you'd be taking that kind of opportunity every day of the week.
Yeah, yeah.
On the 6-yard line, free, nice height. Wow.
Graham. Robbed by Allen, but batters back. Allen beats Graham to it, and now it runs free to Guthrie. Forward to Cephas on the left foot. It didn't steady. The ball didn't sit well for him, and he wasn't steady himself on his feet. Thought about for a moment, a split second, to lash it with the left foot and didn't bother. Arnott with a throw, but that was another opportunity.
Good midfield work by Guthrie. That's what we've been asking to see by the midfielder in the centre of the park.
Just flips it behind him. It's headed away by Alton, who is only off Martin, who hunts it down and retrieves. Still Martin needs some help. Back to slowly. And the flick around the corner from Guthrie was to nobody. It's out for a goal kick.
Commentators curse. Well, yeah, that was a horrible pass by Guthrie. But the two before, very good, showing that his vision is really intact. Or should I say, is really working so far in the early points. And that's necessary for Arnott Gardens. I think that's really been an area of their game this season that has been lacking. Just the ability to free the likes of Cephas and Arboin when he has played, and Fabian Reid. And that's just the role of Guthrie. He really has got to do better. And so far in the first 10 or 11 minutes, it's looked promising.
Allen. Guthrie met by a robust challenge from Kevin Graham, who won the ball. Leaves Guthrie on the ground, and this ball played forward to Swaby, and Price off his line quickly, acting as a sweeper keeper. Sends it long, it's out for a throw to Veer.
Right idea from Veer. Attack along the ground, through the spine. That is Arnott Gardens' weakness.
See the challenge from Kevin Graham, crunching in, but got all ball, as he has the ball to deal with once again. Doesn't do it efficiently this time. Allen in to the penalty box, met by Gale. And the ball is now with Neil, the ex-Arnott Gardens man. Turns away from Cunningham, but can't get away from Allen, who took a nibble, and Gale seems to have a foot problem. May have caught some studs on the toe.
We really saw the difference in Veer United in the last game when Neil didn't play. Really lacked creativity and energy through that middle. He's an important component in terms of getting Swaby more touches on the ball up front. So very important that he stays on. Did get an injury in the first game of the season, then had to come off the bench in the second. So they will certainly be hoping, Donovan Ducey and company, that he remains on and it's not too bad.
Yeah. So the right foot, looks like Martin stepped on his foot just as he was challenging for that ball, Lamar Neal. And it was very quick to get rid of the right boot.
It was a lovely turn by him as well. Already scored this season, Neil. So instrumental in the forward plays of Veer United, who have really struggled. Just 2 goals this season. Worst scoring record, second best defensive record.
Yep. Typical Veer stats.
Yeah. 2 goals on the season, just 3 conceded.
So Lewis will have this throw. They're down to 10 men Veer because Neil is getting his boot back on. Long ball down. Gale, favorite to get here, and he competently heads it back to his goalkeeper, Panton. Kevin Graham calls him for it, the senior defender. Back to Panton.
Generally, it's a big deal for Donovan Ducey when Ricardo Campbell, his captain, doesn't start, and Anjay Gale has been asked to do the job.
Bad decision by Gale, and he's left by Cephas in the dust. The ball comes across, there's nobody there. Alton Lewis turned it behind for a corner with Steve Clark lurking, but Clark was too far away from the action. And Cephas looks across and says you should have been closer. Here's Clark now, bursting into the box. Looking for a pass, finds Allen! Off the crossbar! From the outside of the right boot! And the flag goes up for offside. But before that, Martin Allen improvised really well. The outside of the right foot, crashing that shot off the crossbar.
Yeah, lovely toe poke. Great burst of speed yet again from Cephas. Gale left behind yet again. And just spoke about him coming in, but here's the attempt. Looked like a toe punch attempt which caught the keeper off guard and certainly would have been beaten had that been a few inches lower.
Yep. Swaby, can he keep this one in? Yes, but only for Simpson to play it back to his defensive colleague Gerald Neal. Neal gets the call from right to Cephas. Back to right. Oh, but almost was a bad pass, but it works out. Cunningham under pressure, being hunted down by Javier Brown. Finds his way into the midfield to Martin. Gets away from Plummer for the moment. This is Cunningham for Arnett Gardens. Slowly. Bad pass. Swaby gets here for Cunningham. Veer on the attack. Cunningham seems to stepped in and blocked that pass that was intended for Neal. Plummer, oh, his touch was awful just now, Ramon Plummer. Kevin Graham with a sliding tackle, but only gives it to Steve Clark for Arnett Gardens down this right-hand side. Clark versus Graham. Needs help, takes the help from Slowly. Martin all the way back to Simpson. Will come this side to right. Then Cephas showing for it. Right goes inside though, looking to find Allen, and a good tackle by Javier Brown. Neal can't get there, the ball was too long. Cunningham under pressure and loses out. This is Harrison, the youngster. Back to his captain who goes for the early cross. It hangs in the air and William Price comes and punches. Fresh ear kick by Brown, but it works out. He got it back. Neal under pressure. Salmon. Early cross. Met by Gerald Neal. And the call for relaxation reverberating around the Arnett players. Or among them at least. Allen gets it possession. Needs some help. Cephas on this left-hand side. Bursts into the box past Salmon. Cephas still going. Still Cephas byline. Cuts it back into the arms of goalkeeper Panton, and the assistant referee said it had run out of play.
Yeah, second touch a little bit too heavy from Cephas. The left foot not working so well today, so the cross as well was very weak. Didn't get his weight transfer right at all, Cephas. On a couple occasions now, but certainly has the better of the Veer United defence in terms of pace.
Strong challenge by Wright, and it worked out for him. Allen has had a lot of touches so far, the replacement striker. This is Steve Clark now. Has also seen a lot of the ball. Slowly gives him the overlapping moment. He comes inside to Guthrie. His touch wasn't good, and Anjay Gale won out and sets Ramon Plummer. Well, I thought he was going, but he took a turn and is still in the defensive third for Veer. Forward now to Harrison. Miscommunication with Swaby, who wanted played forward. Harrison was playing it to feet. Meanwhile, to feet is where Ronaldo Cephas has this one. Salmon goes across to contend, and Salmon blocks it. Good defending for the moment. Cephas, can he get around him? Has the beating of Salmon for pace, but not on that occasion.
Too predictable by Ronaldo Cephas. Just maybe needs to change it up a bit. They know every time that he's going towards the byline. Maybe just needs to drop the shoulder and cut inside instead and let a shot fly, just to keep the defenders guessing. Important to disturb the balance of your marking defender.
Harrison's header. Very well done by Simpson. Under pressure from Swaby, but just a little nudge with the shoulder to ease the big man away.
Maybe that's more something the experience of a Fabian Reid would do.
Yep.
Just to unsettle his defenders, which is why he scores so many goals as well.
Arnett dominating this game. This is Clark. Inside to Martin. On the left foot! Looked threatening from our angle, but I'm sure it wasn't from the goalkeeper's angle.
Movement a little bit better from Arnett Gardens, finding those little pockets of space. Just the touches need to be a little bit better, George.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that.
Yeah. Yeah, controls a little bit heavy. That first touch, the setup for the shot, heavy as well, so it forces you to be out of position.
Brown fires it forward. Can Swaby chased that one down. He couldn't. Neil beat him to it. It's in the midfield with Brown. Under pressure from Guthrie and loses out. Cunningham forward to his captain. Quick pass to Martin, who frees Steve Clark down that right-hand side. Has two men forward with him. This is Romeo Guthrie! The one-time shot. Never got any elevation. And it was blocked anyway. It's out for a corner kick.
Still like that move. Good movement by Guthrie. Scuffed the shot badly, but I think the idea was spot on.
Paul Teagat Davis up off the Arnett Gardens bench, willing his boys to press home their superiority. This is Steve Clark with the corner kick. It's flat. Doesn't beat young Cohen at the near post. Well, not even near post. The first line of defense. Couldn't clear it. Right, told to go line. So he comes line to Gerald Neal, who had a heavy touch and is robbed by the youngster Harrison and then hauled him back. And referee Mason says free kick to Very United. So, bearing out the claim I have made that Arnett have dominated, the numbers confirming that 60% possession, the team in red and black controlling so far in this game. Plummer was stretching in as he was losing the dribble and left some studs in on Romeo Guthrie. Ooh. It hurts from here.
Yeah. He's up quickly, so that's good. But
he gets the call though. He gets the free kick. He stepped in on Guthrie, but he gets the free kick. Referee saying he was fouled before that play, which is why he was off balance. Anyway, it's the first water break of the day, of the game, in the 22nd minute, and the players will refresh themselves. We remind you these conditions are tough, very hot out there, 30 degrees Celsius or a little bit more than that. And even though there's a strong breeze, from our vantage, the breeze is comfortable. Not so much for the players down on the pitch, who are under the full glare of the sun, don't have the benefit of shelter as we do. So much change the Arnett Gardens team and much change the Very United team. Both teams showing changes for different reasons. Very because of what their coach diplomatically said were administrative issues. And Arnett because some men injured, not fit enough for the squad. Others with knocks, not quite good enough to start. If you were Dookie, what would you be telling your boys now, Chris?
A little bit more solid defensively. Better use of the ball. I think they've given away the ball when coming out of their defensive third. A little bit too much, so a little bit careless. Just need to, take better care of the ball in terms of possession. As you said, without the captain, that leader in the back line. So young Anjay Gale asked to do that job. A role which he did play some of the time when he was in schoolboy football at Garvey Museo. Played in that defensive midfield role as well. But yeah, I just think they would like to work that ball out a little bit more. And Neil needs to get a little bit more of the ball so that he can thread the lines for that man, Francois Swaby. 92 goals in a Premier League career and hasn't been able to add to it so far this season. There's young Swaby talking to young Cohen, 15 years of age. Hasn't had a bad start so far. Swaby has been starved of touches in this first half. I guess nothing unusual for Very United, who have struggled to score goals so far this season, just 2. And we're in match week 5. Neil and Brown, the only scorers so far for them this season. And the Javier Brown goal came from the spot. I must say though, George, Arnett Gardens going forward, even though they haven't had Reid, they haven't had Arboyne, Clark has been doing a pretty good job on the right in terms of adding width to them. And Allen has looked promising, has hit the crossbar as well. So their changes up front still look promising, they still look dangerous.
Yeah. Paul Davis was saying in the pre-match discussion that we just need to take chances. We're going to get chances. So no matter how good Vera are defensively, we're going to get chances. But if we don't get them, then they're going to look like they're brilliant defending. We just have to take chances. Salmon loses out to Cephas. And he's gone, the number 7 for Arnett Gardens. Runs by Kevin Graham as well in space. Cephas, can he find the cross? Checks in, wants it on the right foot. And the cross is weak. Salmon went back into a good position to effect the block. And Arnett have to start all over again their attack. Slowly breaking forward. Allen, nice flick to Guthrie. Guthrie out wide to Steve Clark. Clark only has one in the box to aim for, and he bangs it off the rather sensitive area for Alton Lewis, who kind of sees the funny side of that and trots away. And Clark takes the corner kick early, but too early, says the assistant referee.
Well, not only that, it was out of the area from Clark.
It's good now, yeah. This is Cunningham, blocked by Neil. Cohen, no foul on the play. And then Ramon Plummer and Cunningham clashing. Cunningham thought the free kick was his, and he gets the yellow card for something he said to referee Mason. Would not have been booked for the challenge, but he decided to get lippy, and the referee gave him a yellow card.
One of those players who has come into the squad for this one, Janai Cunningham. Big presence within the middle of the park. Here was that.
Alton Lewis fires this one forward for Veer. Cohen, his header, looking for Neil of the Lamard variety. Swaby does well to win it for Veer. Needs support. Plummer, and he gives it away to Martin. Martin under pressure from Plummer. Back to slowly. And they were trying to save a corner, which they didn't save. Slowly. Not clever defending from the Arnett Gardens boys at all.
No, and the touches generally for both teams have left a lot to be desired. And one of the good things about these last couple seasons up here is that you certainly can't complain about the surface in terms of true bounce. So it's really a lack of technique and not a fault of the facility.
With the corner kick for Veer, and it's awful on the floor for the most part, and it's swept away for a throw. This match week 5 has been rather curious. We were averaging 3 goals per game, but match week 5 would have dragged down that average if the trend holds, because there's been a dearth of goals so far in the match week. We had 2 games yesterday. We had 3 goals in those 2 games. On Saturday, it wasn't much better. And this looks like another day of struggle. We've gone very well so far, so you're not hearing me complain. I'm just making an observation as Trevance Salmon lines up this free kick for Vera United. 6 men in white shirts waiting in the 18-yard box. It swings, doesn't beat Romeo Guthrie, one of the smallest men on the pitch, as the first line of defense pour from the free kick from Vera United. They go all the way back. Alton Lewis with his goalkeeper Panton. Salmon on the chest. Waited too long to make up his mind, and Cephas made up his mind for him by stripping him of it. Arnett Gardens come through. Steve Clark on the right. He's seen a lot of the ball, the winger. Drives by Alton Lewis into the box. Steve Clark! And Panton gets a hand on it. A weak hand, it must be said, but Salmon cleans it up. So no danger from that play. Javier Brown sends it forward into space, but young Cohen won't get there. Cunningham back to Clark once again. Arnett Gardens raiding a lot down the right-hand side of their attack. Slowly gives Clark the overlapping run, and is used now. What can Slowly do? Can he find the cross? It's hit too hard, and it's wayward behind for a goal kick to Veer.
Both wingers doing very well for Arnett Gardens. sharing the width well. Clark on the right, Cephas on the left. But unfortunately, more times than not, the deliveries into the box haven't been the best. That was a strike by Clark from a very acute angle. Would have been going wide. Panton wasn't taking any chances, as you said, George. Very lucky that he didn't play it into a dangerous area as well for a tap-in. Yeah, because that was comfortably going wide of the right upright.
Panton's goal kick doesn't pass the half line. And Allen got hit by Gale. And off the ball, Alton Lewis goes down holding his face. I didn't see him being struck a blow in the face. Alton Lewis, not one of those players to roll around and make a meal of contact. So if he's down, it must be because he's hurt.
Yeah, not sure what happened there either. Didn't see it. So if there was a hand, it was skillfully done.
Yep, here's Donovan Ducky, the point we made earlier. There are 12 teams in this Jamaica Premier League. And at one time or the other, he would have coached 5 of them. This is what happened. This is Allen coming with the follow through. Yes, that's an elbow.
Oh.
And we're a VAR operative in this game. And they looked at that. Then Marlon Allen would have been sent for an early shower. It missed the assistant referee, missed the referee. And Alton Lewis, beg your pardon, Alton Lewis has the right to feel aggrieved because Marlon Allen got away with one. That was a blatant forearm / elbow.
You're in 2 wrong, because Allen certainly would have been sent on a date.
Yep.
Had that been seen.
Anyway, we resume. 32nd minute. Tough conditions for football, as all of the, well, most of the early games in the match weeks have been. But we've seen some good football from teams. We've seen better from Arnett Gardens so far this season. Neil Harrison giving him the outlet, but Neil doesn't like that pass. He wants to go to Swaby, but the pass lacked direction.
Well, miscommunication. I want to see more of Neil on the ball for Vere United, though. He's been really out of the play.
So just now, Cunningham was trying to find Cephas with a long pass, and you could see the frustration on Paul Teagat Davis over on the bench. He just threw his hands on his hips and shook his head, wondering what that was. Harrison to Brown, Brown to Plummer, being closed down by the pressing Marlon Martin, pressing on Jay Gale. Gale barely gets it away. Cohen to Lewis. Brown wants it and gets it. Over the top for Cohen. Not bad idea, not a bad idea from Javier Brown.
Yeah, nice run by Cohen as well. Just a little bit too central with the pass, Brown, but certainly a good idea.
Here's Clark, who's caused Veer a lot of trouble down the left-hand side of their defense around Alton Lewis, as if he isn't there. Clark is into open space. He comes with the early cross, but it's misdirected and wayward behind for a goal kick after good work. Steve Clark really did himself no justice with the quality of that pass, or the lack thereof.
Good speed yet again. You spoke about that at the start of the game, and using it on the flank. But as you said, when they have come close to the 18-yard box, they just lack a little bit of patience on it, Gardens. Sometimes they just don't need to force the pass. Just take your time, look for that pass maybe on the top of the 18 and work it around. Again, it was forced, and even if that had gone into the box, there was no one there to help.
Cephas
or to use.
Comes inside Graham. Oh, cuts Graham inside and out. Cephas with the shot! What a goal! Arnett Gardens' talismanic number 7 does it again! Another fantastic solo effort! Kevin Graham went to confront him, but like a salt shaker, he shook him left, then shook him right, put it on the right foot, and curled it beyond Michael Panton in goal. Oh my word! That's a beautiful goal from Arnett Gardens River stopping number 7.
3 on the season for Ronaldo Cephas. Just what we spoke about, the need to drop the shoulder, get the defenders off balance. So he goes left, goes right. Graham doesn't know where he is. And Panton a bit unsighted as well by the shot. Look at this here. Good skill. Turns Graham around. There's no recovery for him. And yeah, Panton was Yeah.
When
Panton
you said it,
blocked.
he was onside,
Yeah,
so he saw it
onside.
late. And the hand he could get to it, did get a hand, but the hand wasn't strong enough. And the 19-year-old keeper could only really help it into his goal, helping it up into the roof of the net. But yeah, that's what Ronaldo Cephas does. Guthrie runs on to this loose pass in the Veer defense, and his pass is poor, though Angie Gale cuts out easily. Veer have their defense breached. That's not a usual thing for any commentator to say. Harrison, can he get by? Right, wins it. The young man back to Javier Brown. 3 men to aim for in the box, and the cross is woeful. Didn't get it out from under his feet, and he knows that he made a hash of the cross. The captain for the day for Veer United.
Yeah, it's been the story of them so far. Misplaced passes, bad touches. Hanek Gardens haven't been at 100% either, but certainly a deserved lead. Hit the crossbar on one occasion, have come close on a couple others. And yeah, that man who was once Jamaica's leading goal scorer, Paul Teagat Davis.
Yep.
Knows a lot about goal scoring.
Yep.
And he would have been proud of that moment from Cephas, just using his skill and pace to unsettle the Veer United defence, and almost used Allen, his teammate, as a mask for Panton, and bent it around him into the far corner.
Here's Javier Brown, forward to Harrison. First touch, not bad, but he ended up losing it. Guthrie picks up the captain for Arnett Gardens to Martin. Slowly now. Clark bouncing on the sidelines, on the touchline, wanting the pass to come to him, but slowly turned away from him. Simpson to Wright. Wright's pass is poor, picked off. Neal. Oh, trying to send Swaby in. Gets another chance. Oh, Simpson steps forward to thwart that. Kevin Graham beating Allen in the air. And Plummer for Veer to Lewis. Lewis goes down under the challenge. No foul, says the referee. And Johnoy Cunningham, a rush of blood. Don't know who he was passing to. And it's a throw for Veer.
Well, the intention was for Martin, but as I said, misplaced.
The thing about the goal, though, almost like what you see in basketball, where sometimes a defender is struggling with an attacker on the opposing team. Kevin Graham saw someone struggling with Cephas play after play, and Kevin Graham went from centre back to right back to challenge Cephas, to tackle him, to shackle him. But he was shaken and stirred by the Arnett Gardens number 7, who then went on to curl it far enough from the goalkeeper for the goal, the opening goal of the game.
Still need better passing from the red and black though. A lot of inaccuracy.
And I can tell you, Teagat Davis is dishing out the instructions from the bench, not happy with what he's seen despite his team being 1-0 up. Still barking instructions at his boys because, as you say, Chris,
the quality.
Yeah, the passing really, really poor.
But even the midfield, in terms of making themselves available, the angles, dropping off, a lot of times they have been left wanting. Guthrie and Cunningham need to do better. It's constant movement. Even if you're not going to receive the ball, you move to create space for your teammate. And I think they have been guilty of that. That is a lot better now in the build-up, and look at the result.
Martin forward to Allen. Can Allen get there? He gets it before Panton, but the touch was too heavy. Touch just a tad too heavy. Nice approach though. And just a little toe poke with the left foot to get it around Panton. But then that white line that he doesn't like suddenly appeared prominent in his vision, and he knew it was into touch.
Panton was lucky. Good move by Arnett Gardens on that occasion. Midfielders very busy, just moving into the pockets. 1-touch, 2-touch passing. Almost resulted in a second goal. That's the idea.
Harrison deemed to have fouled right, shoving the back of the Arnett Gardens left back.
And I can tell you, the assistant coach of Arnett Gardens, Eric Rademakers, that is the kind of football he loves to see coming out of the Dutch system.
Yes.
That total football, the movement. You know, players constantly running into position, even out of position, to create a position for a teammate.
Yeah. Just heard Kevin Graham in the Veer defense just saying, come on team, let's do some talking, let's talk to each other. He's not convinced that they communicate well. He's convinced the communication isn't good enough, and the veteran trying to get them to talk to each other more clearly and to assert what they want their teammates to do. Seif was forced to go all the way back to Simpson. Didn't want that pass, but was forced to take it because the movement to his right, to his left wasn't good enough. Simpson from the back, it's a poor pass. Aiming for Guthrie, aiming for Cephas, aiming for neither in real terms. Harrison for Veer. But he's robbed of it. And Cunningham just stops this from going out for a corner. Guthrie exchanging passes with Martin. Oh, Steve Clark can get to this. This is Steve Clark. This is 2-0 for the Guns. Good save by Panton. And the follow-up by Vernon Allen. The replacement striker gets his goal. Clark's shot warmed the palm of Panton. And then Allen dived forward to make the connection into the unguarded net. May have hurt himself in the process. Well, definitely hurt himself in the process. But it's 2-0 for Hornet Gardens.
Marlon Allen gets the first of the season. Impressive play, love the energy by him as well, and the anticipation. It was a Paul Teagot Davis kind of finish, a poacher's finish, and excellent by Marlon Allen, wearing that number 30 has come in for Fabian Reid. Look at the strike there from Clark, it was a good one, and Allen put himself in the position to score before the defense line, and it was a weak challenge by Graham in any case. And Allen putting his body on the line. It was difficult for Panton, right at him, and couldn't sort out his hands. Allen sorted out his head.
You know, that ball from midfield from Guthrie, which broke the lines. How Alton Lewis didn't cut out that pass, I'm not going to be sure, because we all thought it was an intercepted pass. Steve Clark also thought the pass was intercepted, but then realized that, oh, the defender hadn't taken it. And then it was easy for him. There's no way Alton Lewis would have caught up with Steve Clark in that race. A dead run to the loose ball. And Allen, that's the congratulations from Cunningham. This is Dookie. He has some real problems on his hand, having a conference with his team. Not usual for Veer United to concede 2 goals in a game, let alone a half. This is what happened. Well, before this, you'd have seen that Alton Lewis was really at fault because the pass from Guthrie from deep, which broke the lines, Alton Lewis, how he didn't intercept, I'm still trying to figure out what happened.
Well, he panicked, George. I think that was a mistake. That was actually a ball that he probably could have controlled.
But I expected him to control it.
Yeah, tried to swing almost to clear it, which was very unnecessary. There was no, he actually wasn't under a lot of pressure because Clark was wide of him.
Yeah, he wasn't on his shoulder. Yeah. He was there or thereabouts without really pressuring him, and
could have taken it in his stride and actually played it back to the goalkeeper if necessary. But yeah, it was poor defending, and as I said, too many changes to the defense line of Veer. This is probably the weakest their defense would have been all season in terms of looking at them from an opposition's perspective. Sure. Yeah.
Ball over the top for Cohen. Cohen gets the cross, and it's met by the head of Gerald Neal, who needed to have been there. And they're showing some signs of life as an attacking force in this game. The Hornet defense has had a really easy time of it in this game.
Even a situation like this where they have a corner, no Lumpton there, no Campbell, two excellent headers of the ball. They are out, so even their potency from the corner situation is not as good. Yes, you have Francois Swaby.
Cross comes, the corner kick comes in rather, and it's met by Gerald Neal, and Cephas has some space to work with, but he's gonna go for the cross, the booming crossfield pass, looking for Clark. Lewis does well this time. One bounce, and he clears his lines, gives his defense time to organize. So this is what happened. So this is, you're gonna see Guthrie. This is Guthrie. Look at this pass. Alton Lewis. Oh my goodness. You can't do that at this level. That's criminal defending.
He actually didn't try to clear it. He was trying to control it and just
Criminal
made a mockery
defending.
of it.
Yeah, yep. Criminal defending. Gale clears his lines with purpose. Swaby, can he take this? Beaten to it by Gerald Neal. Bad touch by the youngster Cohen. Graham there this time to prevent that pass from finding the lurking Cephas. 2 minutes to be added. Well, we're into that period of 2 minutes added on. Cephas against Salmon once again. Back to right. Cephas sends right going. Can he keep it in? Nah, too tight for him. I'm starting to think that Ronaldo Cephas, Chris, regardless of which fullback is facing him down, is unplayable in those wide areas. Because I'm thinking of the quick fullbacks in this league, the dogged defenders, those who are strong and have pace and that good combination. And I don't see anybody who can live with him. Allen wins that header for Arnott.
Yeah, well, apart from the raw pace, he has quick feet, so it makes it even more difficult because you don't want to misplace the tackle and concede a penalty or something like that, or even a tough free kick on the edge of the box. Well, another aggressive situation taking place, and Brown is on a yellow card, isn't he?
Well, it was actually Steve Clark who got that for the aggressive clearing of the ball when the referee had signaled that the ball was dead. So the referee didn't like that. And Clark picks up a needless booking. And I hear Paul Teagat Davis here telling his defenders that they're getting carried away sometimes. Getting carried away. Actually, it was the wrong man booked because Cunningham was the one who booted it away.
And he's on a yellow card.
So he's very lucky, Janoy Cunningham. Very, very lucky boy. Maybe the hairstyle fooled referee Mason.
I think that's why Clark just accepted it.
Anyway, Alton Lewis pumps this free kick into the box. It hangs on the breeze. Price came with 2 fists. Kevin Graham kicked it into the ground more than anything else. And now Clark. Pass blocked by Lewis. Lewis goes down. The Arnott boys the men on the Arnott Gardens bench humoring Alton Lewis as he fell in front of them. And the fourth official chiding them, telling them not to get involved in the play because they're not on the field. Lewis has this free kick wide. Can Veer pinch one back before the halftime whistle goes? This probably is the last act of this first half. Ball pumped in and Price favourite to catch this. He punches one fist and Cunningham sends it further away. And referee Mason says throw. Or is it corner? Looks to be a corner kick. 5-6 men in white shirts now in the box. Ken Lamar need to find one of them. Can't beat the first defender, who is right. Back in by Neal. Swaby with the header! Straight at Price. And then anyway, then even there was a blatant push off from the big striker. Referee Christopher Mason has seen enough of this first half. A first half that meandered between ordinary and sublime. Sublime because of Ronaldo Cephas' goal, the first goal of the game. And then Arnott Gardens to assert their superiority over a weakened Veer team short of their usual pieces. Marlon Allen, the replacement striker, coming up trumps with that second goal to give Arnott Gardens, put some daylight between them and Veer United. So at the interval, it's Arnott Gardens 2, Veer United 0. Doing the business here. Saw him a couple seasons ago when he first broke into the Premier League. I was watching a few highlights of him last night and he was slimmer, looked almost lost in the jersey. Man now, even though he's only 22 years old, he looks the part, Ronaldo Cephas. And a couple people after the last Arnott Gardens game we did called me after the game to ask about him. So people are looking at this young man and wondering if there's an opportunity that he can grab hold of outside these shores. Plummer battling with Martin and loses out. Martin needs a pass, tries to flip it over to Cephas, but Graham got in the way. Cunningham now sends it out wide. Salmon wins the duel. Graham cleans up. Swaby outside to Harrison. Harrison and Wright have battled away over on the left side of the Arnott Gardens defense.
And as expected, Wright has done well. We spoke about Wright's competence from a defensive standpoint, better than Johnson. He just hasn't been able to add anything going forward though, Wright. But I guess they will take that from a Arnott Gardens perspective. A little more solidity in their defense, which has looked shaky at times.
Right down, and the Veer boys won't appreciate that, and I can see why Alton Lewis is upset, because Ronaldo Wright is down on that far side for Arnott Gardens, and Veer were attacking. They were in a promising position. They had 3 men near the ball. They could have played a triangle, and then there was an extra man over at the top, at the edge of the 18-yard box. May have been Swaby, and they were attacking, and the referee called a halt to proceedings so Wright could get treatment.
Yeah, that wasn't good by Mason. And he should have called this a lot earlier. It was very obvious what had happened. To Wright. Very obvious that obviously an arm from Swaby wasn't intentional, but he had a lot of time to stop the play, Christopher Mason. You certainly can't wait until Lamar Neal cuts in with an opportunity to shoot and then blow the whistle. That's poor officiating for me. He's had a good game so far, Christopher Mason, but that was poorly done.
Yeah, dodgy moment from the referee. And now, whatever he does now, unless Veer score from it, they'll feel as if it's not the same as what they were building when the referee stopped play.
It's a crazy decision there.
Neal has it now.
Nowhere near there.
Salmon puts it into the box. Brown's head goes up, but Gerald Neal got there before him. Kevin Graham puts it back. Coin at the back post, but he somehow missed it. Anyway, he was offside, the young man. Misread the bounce. And by the time he got up for the header, the ball had long gone. It wouldn't have counted anyway. He had straight offside. Wright's first touch isn't clean. Closed down by Harrison. Swaby comes across to help Harrison. Simpson. It's a big boot in. Still a Veer ball though, it'll be their throw. Neal under pressure from Cunningham. Still Neal, oh, shakes off Cunningham. Wright got in the way of the pass intended for Salmon out wide. Martin. Meanwhile, must be Plummer who's down. In the midfield. Players fighting over whose ball it is. Referee Mason looks as if he's giving the foul to Veer, so it'll be Veer ball. This is what happened. Allen in the challenge with Plummer, and Plummer coming off second best.
Yeah. It was an awkward fall for Plummer. I think he jarred the back with the fall as well. His legs were almost ahead of him. So more pressure on the back.
Graham counselling Alton Lewis about what to do. Really relishing his role as senior man in the team. Well, even when the other senior players are there, Kevin Graham takes a senior role.
Lewis has some making up to do though, George.
Oh yes, yeah. That was a really poor interception from him. I can't get over it.
The least he could do is provide a good delivery.
Here he is though. Plays it short to Salmon. Can he whip the cross in? That's what the intention is. Oh, Kevin Graham meets the header and sends it high. That was well worked by Veer United from the free kick. Graham found himself right on the edge of the 6-yard box in the right place, but the execution of the header, not good.
And just like we saw in the first half from Earl Simpson, got to do even better. Was under a bit of pressure, was diving away as well, but should have put that on target. A man of his experience, Graham.
Yeah, slowly.
He said 28, but not 38.
There you go. Yeah. Slowly was pressuring him, so maybe that attention was off-putting for Kevin Graham. But yeah, a player of his experience really ought to have at least asked William Price a question.
I'm wondering if he thought that the ball was about to dip more, because the way he positioned his head almost underneath the ball, it could only have gone up. So I don't know if he was expecting a dip, but certainly got it wrong. And we've seen two really good chances at this end. Simpson in the first half, and then Graham here, where they should have done better with the heads.
Allen, very lucky not to be booked for that tackle. He left some studs in on Ramon Plummer, who had just turned away from him and was looking to accelerate away into the dribble when Allen slid in to make that tackle. Anyway, Plummer is back up and Lewis has this free kick once again. Veer have 5 men in the box, make that 6. Plummer is now going in. Lewis to the back post, offside flag goes up against Trevance Salmon. Well, actually it's Tyreek Harrison. Salmon is back on the half line trying to police Allen alongside Anjay Gale. Man down in the box for Arnett Garza, looks to be looking for, well, it wasn't Romeo Guthrie, it was Wright. Maybe the head injury. He hasn't shaken that off yet. Looks a bit dazed, Ronaldo Wright.
Yeah, yes he does.
Maybe that forearm smash accidental from Francois Swaby, although Swaby's a wily old character. May have tried to mask. But I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, because to suggest otherwise would be to suggest that he intentionally tried to elbow an opponent. He's not that kind of player, so I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to call it an accident based on what we saw. But that's the reason that Wright is down after that coming together with Swaby, where he took that arm across the face.
And Swaby is naturally taller, so to jump, you generally put up your arms to try and get that height. Swaby is taller, so the arm would easily have connected with Wright's head. Just because I'm sure there is at least 5 inches difference between the two in terms of height.
Not sure I've seen Donovan Ducky leave his seat so far in this game. And as if on cue, the director goes there. He accepts that he's not playing this game. He's not gambling today with the best deck of cards. And so he doesn't see the need to really be hard on the boys.
And the deck is lacking the jokers.
Yeah, so he's just, you know, taking what comes and trying to encourage. Obviously, he doesn't want to be blown out.
Well, when you look at his bench, there's not much to come off of it.
Yep.
So, as you said, the options really slim for him. I can imagine how he was feeling just from the fact that his captain wouldn't have started. And we spoke about this from last season as well, how nervous he is when Ricardo Campbell is not there, because he really orchestrates things. He's one of the main reasons why Vere United keep so many clean sheets and have such an excellent defensive record. I mean, Lumsden is excellent as well, but it's the leadership of Campbell that really steers things in the right direction.
Ajuma Johnson coming in, number 10 rather, to replace number 3 Ronaldo Wright. So the usual left back gets back onto the pitch. Paul Teagat-Davis not feeling he was fit enough to start.
And that's a forced change, because obviously Wright is not doing so well based off after that knock.
Yeah, still down on the stretcher, Ronaldo Wright. Anyway, Johnson beaten to it by Javier Brown. Second time, 2 challenges between both men, and Johnson fouled. So getting involved right away, Javier Brown goes into the book for the aggression in the tackle.
You can see referee Mason saying it's a compilation of challenges over a period of time, pointing to the different spots just to say you've been guilty on so many occasions. Well, I didn't do much wrong there, Brown. Ajuma Johnson actually came across Brown.
Johnson with this free kick. Meanwhile, Ronaldo Wright is still lying on the stretcher over on the far side, being attended to by the medics. There are 5 Arnett Garns men in or around the box. Johnson's free kick. It goes all the way through off the post. Panton was beaten and it hit his post. The referee saw an infringement in all that. This is the free kick once again, and it came off the thigh of Alton Lewis.
I did think I saw a deflection. It was a massive deflection. And well, Lewis nearly added another one to his stack of negative things for today.
Yep. 50-50 challenge between Neil and slowly won it. And Cunningham tries to send Cephas hearing in down that left-hand side. Cephas changes gear, blows by someone. Still Cephas trying to pass it to Guthrie. Guthrie with another chance. It's blocked. Cephas off the floor. And he kicks and misses. A fresh year shot by the Hornet Gardens forward. Meanwhile, a man is down injured in the box for Vere United. Looks like Anjay Gale.
Gale with a block, so certainly would have felt all of that in that sensitive area, as we would say, just below the abdomen. But yeah, Cephas injured himself as well with the wild kick.
This was a smashing pass from Cunningham from the back to get him in. And look at this change of pace. Yeah. Gone. Someone did well though, because he came back to tackle, which caused Cephas to fall, and then he got up and kicked fresh air.
Yeah, the ball was actually close to his right foot. Looked to kick with his left, and he looked like he might have injured himself as well with a fresh air. Did well, Cephas, because when he did come under pressure, realized the shot wasn't on and tried to play the pass for Guthrie, which he did. Guthrie just unable to get through the defensive wall of Vere.
And Jay Gale back on his feet, the number 13 for Vere. Just a few gingerly steps, but now back walking normally. So they've left the playing area with poor old Ronaldo Wright. Gerald Neal in possession for Hornet Gardens. They have that 2-0 cushion. Lovely first touch by Allen. Goes down under the challenge from Kevin Graham. Free kick.
Not the greatest challenge from Graham, and it's in a dangerous area as well. The most experience of this back line for Vere United. Allen actually wasn't threatening the goal. He could have just shielded him and ensured that he didn't turn. Now an opportunity to put something on target. As we see some of the substitutes. It's going to be a struggle for Donovan Ducey this season. When you look at his squad list, you look at his bench, he just doesn't have the depth. Line, what, 9th in the table currently. And yeah.
The one team that can't afford to lose any first teamers is without about 6 or 7 of them. Anyway, Guthrie lines up this free kick for Hornet Gardens. The skipper fires goalwards! And it required a save from young Panton. It's behind for a corner.
Good save, Panton. The Hornet Gardens captain with good pace behind that kick. It was reasonably comfortable for Panton.
Johnson with the corner. Well, the short corner. And Simpson missed the header. Put back in by Cunningham. Flashed away by Kevin Gray with the defensive header. Johnson thought about the shot. Still Johnson, Ajuma Johnson on the challenge. And he's adjudged to have fouled his way through. And referee Mason penalizes him for that.
2 excellent deliveries into the box from Hornet Gardens. 1 from either side. This was the first one. Excellent. Simpson should have done better yet again. And then this beautiful delivery into the box. That would have found Simpson had it not been defended like that by Graham.
Yeah, there goes Cephas again, running across. Stopped by a combination of Graham and Salmon.
That was a free kick from Guthrie, just wide.
Yep.
Probably was going to be just wide in the end as well, but Panton once again not taking any chances. The Hornet Gardens captain started the game very brightly with his passing within the middle of the field, which is what we want to see more of him from more.
Nice touch by Harrison, but he can't get around Martin on the touchline. Cunningham back to Neal. Here slowly. Forward to Clark. Has space to run into. Goes for the pass. Shot from Marlon Martin though, but he didn't kick it cleanly. It was scuffed. Kicked it into the turf somewhat. Rolls away wide. Harmless in the end. Two Marlons on the pitch for Hornet Gardens, Martin and Allen. Allen, a goal scorer in the first half. Martin getting through a lot of work in the midfield. Salmon has come out second best in most of his duels with Ronaldo Cephas, the left back for Vera. Here's Kevin Graham though in the back. Will he go long? On the floor. Can't find a teammate. Marlon Martin now for Arnott Guard. Steve Clark wants it played wide. Pass doesn't come. Guthrie. Now Steve Clark gets it slowly on the overlap. Clark inside. And the pass outside is poor. Just a toe poke when it needed a firm connection. It's a goal kick to Ver.
Clark was given the avenue towards goal, the diagonal run. Not sure why he went back outside looking for slowly. Should have looked to use some skill and find a player maybe on the edge of the box or have a shot.
Yep.
Was on his right foot.
Cameraman Michael Tingle couldn't control that pass, but he could bend on his knee to present Valentine's flowers. You know where his talent lies, the Rasta man. Neil to slowly. Simpson calls for it, gets it. Johnson. Martin. Simpson to his goalkeeper Price. Neil has had a comfortable afternoon. Gerald Neal in the back for Arnott Garns, and young Cohen intercepted his pass though intended for Steve Clark. Vera are going to make two changes. We're in the 63rd minute. And two more young men about to enter the fray. Matthew Ellis and Nicholas Robinson. This is Plummer for Vera. Lewis fires it forward. Simpson versus Swaby. Big boot from Simpson. Slowly gets it further forward for Arnott. Brown got an inadvertent touch, and now Cephas runs away from someone bursting into the box. The touch was a little bit too heavy. And Panton had come far enough forward to be able to just snatch that off the boot of the Arnott Garden striker. Lamar Neal trying to play in Salmon and Harrison. All a bit too tight down that right hand side. And Gale in the back for Veer. Neal in midfield to Brown. Cephas has a problem with the right thigh. Had a look at it just now, had a grab as well. Swaby with the header near post! And Swaby has found a goal for Veer United. Almost out of nothing from the Veer United frontman. At his near post, William Price beaten. Just a deft touch by the veteran. And he bags it. For Coach Donovan Duke, it's 2-1. The game not over yet.
Those are the kind of chances that Francois Swaby thrives on. 93 goals now in his Premier League career. Look at this, out of nothing. We spoke about this 2 weeks ago. Just float the ball into the box. Allow Francois Swaby to attack it. Lovely delivery into the box. Francois Swaby, the only player there, and he finds a way. And that's what 242 matches of experience can do.
So Trevor Salmon with the big pass forward. And Swaby standing between two defenders. Just a deft touch. Wasn't looking for power. More direction than anything else, and he found the direction.
If they can find him, he will always cause trouble because there's uncertainty in the back between Neal and Simpson. And quite a few occasions allowing the ball to bounce, which is always dangerous, and then clearing. Lack of communication as to who should go to the ball, and as you could see it there, Francois Swaby making the most. Veer have had nothing going forward at all. Just like that. Arnett Gardens with numerous opportunities to add to their tally. They have hit the upright in the second half. Ronaldo Cephas has caused lots of problems. He has had 2 opportunities where maybe a better touch, a better final touch would have added a second to the game for him and a third for Arnett, but it just hasn't happened.
Yep. Dunstan Cohen is off for Vera United, being replaced by Nicholas Robinson. So Duki was going to make 2 changes before the goal, but he held back one after Swaby scored, and he's only made 1 change. Salmon again with a big cross, and this time Gerald Neal wins the ball, and he needed to have won it because Swaby was lurking behind him, and Swaby applauds the pass again from Trevor Salmon. Water break. Kevin Graham telling the Vera United boys to gather urgently because they need to talk, because he senses a path back into this game. So just before Swaby struck for Vera United, Donovan Duki had 2 youngsters waiting to come on. Immediately after Swaby struck, he called one back, held one back, and just inserted Nicholas Robinson at the expense of Dunstan Cohen.
So that second change might very well have been Swaby. And then seeing something like that, because there was really nothing going for Swaby in the entire 63 minutes leading up to that goal. Doing his usual, running the lines and so on, but the supply just wasn't there, and Lamar Neal wasn't seeing enough of the ball, and you know that is where the chemistry lies generally between the spine, in the spine for Vera United. But as I said, Salmon obviously all of a sudden realizing that he needs to get more balls into the box, and the 2 deliveries have been excellent.
Yep.
That attempt, which actually was cleared by Arnett Gardens, if you actually watch it, Francois Swaby prepared and made the header just in case it would have come to him.
Yep. So the 3 goals we've seen so far, 35th minute, Cephas shooting, and unsighted was Panton. Saw it late. That was 1-0, and then bad, very, very bad from Alton Lewis. Steve Clark, powerful shot. And the goalkeeper only helping it into the path of Marlon Allen. And then look at this, look at Salmon. Look at this pass. And look where Swaby is between 2 defenders, Earl Simpson and Gerald Neal. The filling for the sandwich Swaby was. And he found the net via the near post of William Price. A deft header for 2-1.
And that was from almost 12 yards out, almost a penalty spot. So clinical header by Francois Swaby. Pace, the direction of the header, and it was towards the side of the goal where Price was, towards his near post. He might have been disappointed that he wasn't able to get a strong left hand on it and maybe help it around, but I think the dip just in front of him made it very difficult, and the pace that Swaby generated from the cross, he still had a lot of work to do.
Duki in conversation with Jermaine Teddy Johnson, the ex-Jamaica international, and Tivoli star, MVP, Premier League champion, and now Tivoli assistant coach. Salmon with this corner, near post, and big boot by Gerald Neal to get it out, and Steve Clark sends it further forward. Can Allen keep it in? He can't. So Veer have a second wind. They were struggling uphill with a bag of cement in a knapsack on their backs, but no, the bag is half empty, and they feel a bit stronger running into the breeze uphill. Martin back to Simpson. White. This is Javier Brown back to Ramon Plummer. Swaby. Good feet to get out of a tight spot. Salmon. Couldn't flick it forward. Guthrie. Forward to Cephas. Trying to nudge it around Kevin Graham, but Graham leaves his big frame in the way. Cephas felt that.
His speed is unbelievable, Ronaldo Cephas. Without the ball, with the ball, real talent. Nice young man as well. Had a couple interviews when he was as a schoolboy at Charlie Smith with him and his ambitions of moving forward and one day applying his trade overseas. Lots of ambition to him. Very talented player.
Cunningham out the back. Cephas, Guthrie controlled the ball, but then it came off his arm. Immediately the cries came up from the Very United boys to alert the referee to the handball, and they've succeeded in winning this free kick just inside their half that the designated free kick taker, Lewis, takes charge of. Graham now. Goes long to Lamar Neal. Oh, he was trying to flick that through to Swaby, but the connection he made was too strong. Pour from slowly with Steve Clark in front of him. Clark hisses his teeth and turns away in disgust. Lewis to Neal. Plummer. Poor pass from Plummer. Big Topher now. Mr. Jet Heels goes hunting once again Cephas. To his captain Guthrie. Guthrie wanted to flick it outside to Steve Clark or to Allen. Pass misdirected in the end. In the 72nd minute of a contest that was flat for some parts of the first half, even though Arnett Gardens dominated, but their passing wasn't the best. But then this man on the ball brought the game alive. Can he do so again? It was a blocked effort. The blocker, Kevin Graham. Good speed by young Harrison. He got away from Cephas, who had a little nibble. Will the referee book him, is the question. Yes, he will. Cephas trying to help out in defense there. And young Harrison really showed a good turn of pace to get away from Ronaldo Cephas, who... So this is the sprint. Harrison going. Cephas trying to get to him, but Harrison still driving forward. And yeah, that's a free kick. That's a yellow card as well.
Good work by Harrison. Cephas just feeling that hamstring, is it, yet again. Or thigh has been giving him some trouble since the first half. Yeah, looks like left thigh. Cephas. Arnett Gardens have been guilty of conceding goals late in the second half, so that is something that will build some confidence with Very United. Don't keep their concentration right through the 90 minutes, Arnett Gardens, especially defensively, and it has cost them so far. We think of the Humble Lion game where they conceded late. They also conceded against, was it Cavalier?
In the very first game of the season. Yeah. They had a point and then they let the points slip, lost all three in that first game because of that late game lapse. Robinson fouled by Gerald Neal. And it's a free kick in a dangerous position for Very United. Arnett preparing a substitution. We'll tell you about that. I'll tell you more about that shortly. For now, Price trying to organize his wall to thwart this free kick. Salmon is there. Well, Neal is there. Lewis is there. Everybody else has left it alone.
Lewis wants it, but I don't think he's going to win the battle. This is going to be Neal.
Yeah.
27 yards out.
Can Neal score against his old team? Lamar Neal. Just counting out his pace. It's 3, 4. A little shuffle. He's going direct for goal. Lamar Neal! Harmless in the end. So number 27 is coming out for Arnett Gardens, Steve Clark. The man whose shot was spilt and created the chance for the second goal to be scored by Allen. When the ball goes dead, he'll be given a rest by coach Paul Teagat Davis. Trevor and someone flashing the elbows there at Ronaldo Cephas.
Lucky to get away with that.
Cephas complaining to the referee. But someone will be feeling confident because he's been bossed by Cephas all game. But guess what? He's come up with an assist. And then another very good cross after that assist. So his confidence is back as we look at Paul Teagat Davis rallying the troops once again. Number 18 comes in, Shadane Lopez for Arnett Gardens, replacing Steve Clark. Kimani Arbonne is getting stripped as well. So Arnett having some reinforcements looking to add some reinforcements to the game. That man is going to come in shortly. Lopez is already on. Still Lamar Neal for Veer. Alton Lewis. Forward to Robbins. Robbins has a lot of running to do. Gets there before slowly. Needs help. Needs support. To Neal. Good pass back to Lewis. Plummer has some time. Plummer goes for the shot. It's not what Veer wanted him to do. And Coach Donovan Ducky lets him know that that was the wrong option.
Yeah, really low percentage from Plummer. Didn't set up well, never got the venom behind it at all. Technique wasn't that great. And lack of concentration there for Plummer. Especially when you're looking to get another goal to get back into this game. You just want higher percentage opportunities.
Juma Johnson away from Harrison. Forward to Guthrie. Then Martin. Martin robbed by Javier Brown. Good hunting done by the captain. Now Harrison goes free for Veer. Lamar Neal. Gives it away to Simpson though. And Arnott can come away. Kevin Graham slides in. Getting there before Cephas did. Allen. Lovely turn by Marlon Allen. Into the space for the new man Lopez. Can he get there? Yes, he can. Shadane Lopez on the left foot. He has it. Still Lopez. And Anjay Gale blocked him. Lopez. Being urged to attack his man, but he comes back to slowly.
I don't think he has caught the pace of the game yet.
No, that's obvious.
Yeah, not warm.
Lopez once again.
Quite
Gives it
left-sided.
away, yeah. Slowly wins it back for Arnott Gardens though, under pressure. To Lopez now.
Title win at the schoolboy level with Jamaica College, Shadane Lopez.
And yeah, he really is not to the pace of the
No.
game. Has had several touches in about a minute and a half and hasn't looked as if he knows what he wants to do with the ball. We're sure he's a good player, so it must be that he's not yet caught the pace of the game, as Chris said.
Had two really good opportunities to go one-on-one against the left back likes of Lewis, who is not had the greatest game either. So he is the kind of player that you would want to run at, but didn't make full use of it. Well, this man certainly will.
Cephas being urged to take him on, doesn't need any invitation, runs away from Salmon once again and cuts him. The cross comes in and took a little bit of deflection, did it? And Cephas goes down, obviously troubled by what seems to be a thigh strain. And he's down there on the floor. The referee had a look at him but allows the play to continue. This is Shadane Lopez for Arnott Gardens. Robinson wins possession for Veer. Oh, and it's a poor pass by the youngster. Swaby had pulled wide and come a little bit short for the shorter pass.
Shake of the head by the 33-year-old.
And Swaby agreeing with our cameraman who shouted at him that it looks as if they wanted to run. And Swaby saying, yes, that's the only thing they want me to do, to run. I thought it was a thigh, but for Cephas it looks to be the right ankle or the heel that's causing him some problem.
When you're running at that speed, you'll have all kinds of complications as you start to get tired. It was the thigh at one point. Yeah.
So Javier Brown, the captain, having a go at Alton Lewis. They're having that, let's call it a discussion. Meanwhile, Teagat Davis having a discussion with Shadane Lopez, asking him, why aren't you taking your man on? Just blow by, just go.
I think that would be it for Cephas as well. Kimani Arboin, I'm sure, will be introduced. A player with maybe not the same level of finishing, but certainly the level of pace and work ethic. Arboin. Oh yes, there he is.
Well, I can tell you, Chris, Arboin, of course, is a rapid fellow.
Yes, definitely.
I don't think he's as fast as the number 7, with or without the ball.
No, not as fast, but he's fast.
Yeah, that's for
and
sure.
Certainly against 80-minute legs, yes.
The fact is, the Arnott Gardens forwards are very quick. Teagat Davis has an embarrassment of riches where that is concerned. Finishing, they all could do better in front of goal, all of them. But Arbon will feel, especially that the positions that he has played himself in or found himself in, he has not done as well as he ought to have with finishing, but he gets a chance to score another goal. Has scored a cracker already this season, a goal of the season candidate, and he's on to see if he can get goal number 2. There's Ronaldo Cephas. It's the right ankle that seems to be bothering him. Let's hope he's fine for the next game. So we're in the 82nd minute. Into the 82nd minute we are. And the game just got a bit scrappy for the last 7 or so minutes.
This man Allen has played very well as.
Oh yes, over the top for Guthrie. Keeper came and stopped. This is Romeo Guthrie. Needs support. Oh, he finds Kimani Arboin, but Alton Lewis had come across to cover. Looked across at the assistant referee on this near side, Alton Lewis, wondering why there was no offside flag. But that's not your job.
First touch let you down, Romeo. Certainly was in. Had the first touch been good, you'd have probably been able to have released. Who was that was running? Allen earlier, or Lopez. The first touch wasn't good, so it took him away from goal, and then the chance was lost.
Corner will be taken by there's no ball on the park, and now there are 2 balls out there. So Guthrie waiting on one. It's being ferried across to him. Arnott only committing 4 men to the box for this corner kick. Cunningham set to join them late though. So it's now 5. Guthrie's corner to the back post where there's nobody in a black and red shirt. And this way just allows it to run outside for a throw to Vera United. So 83rd minute, can Donovan Duke's short-handed team, short-handed not in terms of the number of men on the park, but in terms of the number of senior players who are not in the squad today. Robinson, fouled by Guthrie. Lewis now to Anjay Gale. Vera have to hurry if they want to take something from the game. Graham goes for the long ball. Route 1 stuff from Kevin Graham. Can he pick out Trevor and Salmon? Yes, he can. And Arboin was tracking him and did very, very well defensively for his team, Kimani Arboin. Allen for Arnott Gardens. Cuts inside Salmon. Trying to find Arboin, but Lewis cleared. Simpson under pressure. All the way back to his goalkeeper, William Price. Back to Simpson. Johnson. Arboin now has some space to work with. Look at Tyreek Harrison running back to race at him. And very good play from the young man. Was in the attacking phase, but read the danger and absolutely sprinted back to ensure that Kimani Arboin did not get a free run through into the 18-yard box. And the pressure from Harrison was enough to cause the play to break down for Arnott Gardens. Veer will end this game still playing 1 match short relative to the rest of the Premier League teams. Well, to most of them at least, because their game against Tivoli Gardens in the last match week was postponed. And so they will have that fixture to play at a time to be announced. Meanwhile, Salmon puts this one in early once again. It's met by Slowly. Javier Brown wins it. This is Lewis. Lewis for the shot. And Price watched it all the way, pulled his arms away at the last minute, never needed to make an intervention, and it's a goal kick. Paul Teagat-Davis hasn't taken a rest, hasn't sat down, well, hasn't sat all game. A contrast with Donovan Duke, who hasn't stood all game except at the water breaks to talk to his team. So both coaches differing emotions on the bench. Teagat Davis anxious, feels that this is a game they should win. And by standing under barking orders, he's driving his team forward from the sidelines. Lucky knows that his young team is giving their best, and if they're making mistakes, it's because they can't help it. So just content to watch them play. The Veer boys want the throw, but it's an Arnett Gardens. And Alton Lewis having a go at the assistant referee on this near side. Needs to be careful. Some of his language not complimentary at all. Lopez to slowly. Allen off the chest. Exchanges passes with Guthrie, but it's given away. And Jay Gale breaks out of defense. This is Neil. Swaby on the run. Swaby gets possession now. Cross to Anjay Gale would continue this run, but he needs help, Gale. Salmon wanted to cross first time, but his body wasn't set right. It runs all the way through to William Price in goal for the Junglists, the 5-time Premier League champions, who are already much better this season than they were last year. 10 games last year, they only scored 8 goals. Unbelievable. Never before in an Arnett Gardens history of the participation of Arnett in the Premier League have they gone a 10-game stretch scoring 8 goals. That's what happened last year. They already looked much better than that. Neil gets it from Lewis. Can't play the 1-2 though. Cunningham to Arboin. Walks around Javier Brown and frees Shadeen Lopez now, but the pass is poor. Slaps his thigh in frustration, Kimani Arboin, realizing that he messed that up. That was a counter-attack that should still be continuing now as we speak.
Yeah, disappointing after his hard work. He's a tireless worker though, Kimani Arboin. Another of those players coming out of the Charlie Smith system in high school, which is right across the road.
Allen's cross into the path of Lopez. Well, no, it didn't get so far because goalkeeper Panton was there to intercept. Salmon over in that right back position for Veer, just stopped, bent over double, trying to catch his breath. It's been hard work for Trevor and Salmon, spending all afternoon chasing Ronaldo Cephas. Holding both hips, Trevor and Salmon, still trying to catch his breath. As Javier Brown runs into a promising position. Can he find the cross is the million-dollar question. The cross comes in, but poor. And William Price gathers at his near post.
William Price looked like he wouldn't mind taking a nap on the ball there and letting these 5 minutes elapse.
Yep, almost as if he was hugging his Valentine. This is Guthrie. Back to Johnson for the Arnett Gardens team. Have been to the Premier League final 9 times.
I was just saying to you, don't get your friend Tingle started.
Poor from Arnett Gardens, and this is the late game jitters we're talking about. Not concentrating, under no pressure, and the ball passed into touch for a throw. They've won the ball back though. Teagat Davis just turned away in disgust, their coach, because familiar frailties emerging once again. Giveaway by Allen.
They've given up 4 points from these kind of positions thus far in the season, and we're only in match week 5.
Panton gathers.
We're leading Humble Lion by 2-1, then gave up that goal late on. It was a 2-all draw in the end, and then, as you said, had a draw against Cavalier, and then
they lost. They drew 1-1. After they lost that opening game
2-1, so they gave up 2 points.
Yeah, Willis's equalizer meant they were holding on to a point, and then they lost all 3 with that late Shanil Thomas goal. So yeah, they've been bad where that is concerned. 2-1 is the lead. Veer must know that Arnett Gardens are there for the taking at this stage of games. They must keep pressing Donovan Ducky's boys. Change going to be made by Veer. Number 4 is coming in, and number 8, a second half substitute, is coming out. So the second half substitute, Nicholas Robinson, is himself substituted. So Donovan Duki in his best Jose Mourinho moment. So Nicholas Robinson couldn't have spent more than 20 minutes on the park. He's not injured.
And he still hasn't been replaced.
Wow. Lewis, forward. Can Price gather? He does under pressure though from Ramon Plummer, but easy take for the Arnott Gardens custodian in the end. Veer down to 10 men. This is the Juma Johnson for Arnott Gardens. The Junglists have numbers forward. Arboin now. To Guthrie, has some time. Oh, lovely pass to Allen. Allen! The tackle from Kevin Graham. Allen felt he was fouled. But no infringement, says the referee.
I would love to see that again. I might be actually on Allen's side. That was a challenge from behind, which usually means that you make contact with the player first, the attacker first before the ball. And wow, Allen has had a really good game, the number 30. Brought in for Fabian Reid. Here's that opportunity. Lovely first touch. Yeah, definitely contact with his left foot before the ball. It was by Graham. Let's see it here. There's no...
yeah, I would have given that though. It was on time, but yeah.
I don't think Mason had the best view either. He was a bit masked from the players, and probably did a smart thing in leaving that alone.
Yeah, I wouldn't have given that. So the question: can Arnott see out this game? The other question: can Veer pinch something from a game where they've been second best in for much of the contest? Man down for Veer and needing treatment. So there's Nicholas Robinson. Came on in the second half and withdrawn in the second half with his team chasing the game. So a chastening afternoon for the young man. And there's his replacement, number 15, Matthew Ellis. A 15-year-old, and you can see that evident on his face that he's but a lad. And he was under the care of Duki when Duki was in charge of Charlemont High in the Costa Cup. There's another 15-year-old, Dunstan Cohen, the Denby schoolboy who started this game, came off in the second half. In fact, Robinson came on in the 64th minute to replace Cohen and was replaced in the 90th minute. Here's Kevin Graham's free kick. Doesn't go far enough. Neil through a crowd of players. Price watched it every way, all the way, and allowed it to run behind for a goal kick. We're into the 94th minute we are. Arnott Gardens have let points drop from this position before. Veer should know this. Johnson for Garns, and he runs out for a throw. Wow. Lack of concentration there from Ajuma Johnson. Arboin runs back though to help out in defense, and Cunningham has it for Arnott Gardens. Chris Taylor is picking our man of the match today. This is Guthrie. Slips it through to Allen. That was the idea anyway, but the execution was poor. The pass was poor from the captain. A few times Guthrie has been in that position and he hasn't found the right pass. Simpson told to shield, and that he did, easing the 15-year-old Matthew Ennis off.
Two contenders, George, for the man of the match. Marlon Allen would be one. The number 30 has had a really good game, has scored as well, hit the crossbar in the first half and was coming well. But Ronaldo Cephas, with his work over 80-odd minutes, excellent as well. The Arnott Gardens number 7, and I think he would probably just sneak it for me in terms of his quality. All
right, so full time into this game, the penultimate game of match week 5 in the Jamaica Premier League. Arnott Gardens getting goals, 2 in the first half from Ronaldo Cephas and Marlon Allen, beating Veer United 2-1. Francois Swaby replying for Veer, but it wasn't enough from the Clarendon team, who are severely short-handed. Several senior players unavailable. A team of lads, of babes that Donovan Ducky has to marshal, and they couldn't get the job done this afternoon. Paul Teagat Davis can offer congratulations all around. A case of 3 points, the mission accomplished. Arnett Gardens have those 3 points. 2-1, the final score here in this game.